Good afternoon, Marlene.
Hi,
How are you?
I'm doing great.
So, I am Lisa J. Stocks, and today I'm here with my co host, Marlene Motivates. So, tell us a little bit about your channel, Marlene. I was just watching you live on another one of your channels. You have a few.
Yes. So the channel that we're talking about here, are you hearing feedback?
I'm not.
Okay, so maybe it's just me. Okay, so channel that I'm talking to you guys about is Marlene Motivates. And Marlene Motivates is my channel where I talk about life coaching tips and motivation for you to live your best life.
Now, I was just watching, excuse me, let me take a sip. I was just watching you over on Life with Marlene, but you were saying so many things that I think that were so good that I want to bring up today in our
Sure.
live stream because what we're talking about here today and what I want to touch on is just an emotional reset and making sure that you know that everything that is out here is for all of us. You just have to put in the work for in order to achieve it. And don't think that things are not attainable. And I don't share anything to brag or to make you feel like you're behind or anything. All of us have a different starting point. All of us are going to achieve certain goals, but I'd love to hear about others' journeys to give me incentive to do certain things. Like I always mention with you, that mortgage payoff one, I just love seeing people accomplish things like that. And it just gives me the incentive to know that you can put in the work and achieve these certain things. So what are your thoughts on people like not thinking that things are not attainable, that some things are for them?
Yeah. I used to think that way all the time too, Lisa. But when I started to really get into me, you know how they always have that saying, mind your business, where you're talking about other people, but you turn that inwardly. Start thinking about my business. And when I started to focus on me and not be distracted, that's when my life started to shift. And I think that it's important for everybody to really focus on you instead of focusing on everybody else. No, turn inwardly and look at yourself and do some evaluations and the hard work. You can do it.
Hmm. And you have to know that you deserve it. You deserve a better life. If you're seeing certain things in your own life that are lacking, that you want improvement on, know that you actually deserve it. Do you think that people have, I've been told this myself, that I have imposter syndrome on certain things that you're trying to work towards? Do you think that that's what's holding a lot of people back?
Honestly, I think it's because so many people have some resolved issues and trauma from maybe your parents told you that you couldn't do it, or maybe an ex or somebody in your life. You have to get out of other people's head and you got to get into your own head and encourage yourself. Just like you said, you deserve it. We do. We deserve to have this great life financially, but it's about us making those decisions, those hard decisions. Okay, I can't help this person. I need to be putting more money here. I need to be padding this. I need to look at the leaks. And, and when you start really doing that, you really start inching your way towards your finish line financially. But you're the one that has to do the work.
Okay, okay. So Fast Eddie was saying that there is a lot of echoing. So guys, thank you, Evangelist, for echoes gone. Okay, great, great, great.
Okay.
So I'm gonna try to mute whenever you're talking, just
Okay.
to try to
I'll do
give
that.
any improvement with that potentially because you did mention that you heard it. Thank you for that. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for uh the insights and the likes so far, guys. So, guys, I know that the excitement today is around SpaceX, but we're not talking that type of stock talk today, right now, maybe on Sunday. But this is just more of really wealth building, just motivating yourself to get on track to build a better financial future for yourself. I see Mikey's in the chat talking about SpaceX. So reality check, real life, we see it all the time. We've been hearing these different statistics year after year about barely having enough money for an emergency, small emergency, 500, 100, not being debt free. So if you have just a few things going for yourself, you don't have high interest credit card debt, you have a little bit of knowledge on how to budget, you're consistent with trying to stay on track with those things, give yourself a pat on the back, because that's a lot more than some have even achieved. And if you're not there yet, make strives to start to get there. Little steps are all in the right direction. It's all ways to get on track with what we need financially. So, Marlene, what are your thoughts on people just really taking that reality check for themselves and making sure not to think that anything has to hold them back?
Yeah. My opinion on that about the reality check is most of us don't want to believe what is staring at you right in front of your face. That ignoring that debt, ignoring that poor credit score, ignoring that you don't have enough financially, knowing that you are not investing like you want to invest. All of that is not going to go away just by ignoring it. You got to have a real talk with yourself and make up a plan. I always say the winning happens in the execution. It's in your actions. So you don't have to have a lot of money. Just like why the reason why I was drawn to your channel, Lisa, is because you showed how you can invest with a little bit of money. You don't have to do things in a big way. You could start with $10. It's about not making those excuses and saying, well, I don't have a lot. Get that out of your head. I don't have to have a lot. Start small, start where you are, and then be consistent.
Yeah, the way you're explaining it gave me the image of the ostrich that sticks its head down into the ground and just doesn't, wants to block everything out. And we just can't do that. It's one thing to try, keep on trying until you succeed. I'm not saying you try once and it doesn't work out and just give up, but some of us out here are never even giving it a shot and saying, like, I can't do that. And it's okay to seek help. And that's why, I'm sharing my journey. That's why I try to make it answer questions in detail. I try to give the support that people need. And I don't want anyone to be intimidated by investing. I know the benefit of it. I know that we all need to accept that this is the way of the world. Like we've seen, this is back to the 80s now, that the US has shifted to 401k, and us basically, the burden of these employers putting it on us to be the ones to build our retirement. So we have to be on track to do this. And so I don't think that I want everyone to absolutely be ready to have an understanding of investing. It's important. It's for most of us the only way that we're going to be on track for retirement. So, Marlene, what are your thoughts on, like, not being intimidated, not just going to work and letting them take a certain percentage and, like, that's it. That's just the start. You have to be ready to advocate for yourself.
Mhm. And that's what I was just talking about that a little bit when oh, it's feedback again, Lisa.
Oh, let me mute up.
Um I was just thinking about that. I've been thinking about this for a long time. That yes, you have to work, you have to make some money and things like that. And yes, your job will give you something towards your ultimate goal of retirement. But you can't let that be the only thing. You got to have a few. Put your eggs in a few baskets. Don't put all your. Just don't depend on what your job is giving you for what you're going to need for the future. You have to think about, well, I need something for maybe when I for my home health care. I need something for, to think about repairs for my home or condo or wherever you live. You got to have a few ways of I'm trying to think of the word, but you got to have a few ways to have that consistent income coming in. You can't just depend on your job for that.
Yes, multiple streams of income,
Yes,
definitely a
that's
benefit. And when you think about how things are going for yourself, that of course your main income is what it is. For most of us, the day job, the 9 to 5 is the main source of income. But once you're on unemployment, in my experience, my unemployment has never been, it's only a few $100s. It's not weekly. It's not anything as to what my regular salary is. So you have to be ready to supplement that during those times when you're looking for your next opportunity, and hopefully those other sources of income can help to bridge that gap. Now, they also depending on if you have multiple W-2 like sources of income, it also does decrease your unemployment. So you could potentially have partial unemployment. So it makes it even harder, but you have to do the best you can to fight against what is going on as far as trying to stay financially stable. So let's talk a little bit about the saver versus investor mindset. And people jokingly talk to me through my lives and say like, because I'm really just been constantly in saving and investing mode. I don't take profit from my investments as of yet. Usually when I sell an investment, I shift the money right back into something else. I'm not pulling it out to, travel or to handle other expenses. So would you say that you're pretty much the same? You're in saving and investing mode, or are you? I know you said you were just saying, I was watching your live, and you were saying you hope to be less than 3 years away from fire and shifting away from having to work full time. So are you in that place already where you're drawing from your investments or tapping into different things, or is that down the road?
Well, I'm already tapping into that. I'm hearing feedback again. I'm already in that mode of going into the thing about it is that when we get so focused on saving that we forget that we got to pour something into ourselves. You got to fill up your cup. I say that all the time. It can't just be you go, go, go. You'll burn the candle at both ends. In order to continue to save and to invest, you got to give yourself some time. Take a day off, take a vacation, do something. So when you transfer that money, take a little bit off the top, not anything unreasonable, but just a little bit in order to refresh yourself so you can get right back in the game to do what you need to with saving and investing again.
Yeah, I hear you. And I definitely do encourage people to focus on retirement. I think that should be number one. But I also encourage people to have a taxable brokerage account, especially if you know that you potentially don't want to be limited to waiting to 59 and a half, so that you can build something that could help you, even if it is something practical like a down payment for a car or something like that. But I understand. I hear what you're saying. You can't pour from an empty cup. You can't push yourself to the point where you have no incentive to kind of reward yourself to keep on going. So, Now, talking a little bit more about what you were saying in your live is like not trying. What do you think holds back people from trying when it comes to investing and saving? They're just intimidated, confused. Like, what could we do to help people to not be fearful of the prospects? I think the biggest thing is, and it's not going to be perfect, but because people are scared of losing money. So I often try to tell people that the market goes up and down. That is a part of it. But knowing what you're investing into, you can be in a conservative mutual fund that has steady growth, quarterly dividends, and all of those things. But you're still on track to build your money much faster than you are with just putting it in the high yield savings account. What I know this is just you giving um just your thoughts on what you think could be holding people back or intimidated about investing, about really evaluating their 401k. What encouragement do you think that we can give?
Well, I think the number one thing is that we have to get out of our own way. You got to get out of your own head. And something that I wrote that I write down, I have sticky note. I have it right in front of me, and I also have it in my phone. Everywhere I look is that I remind myself every day that I can do it. I am the solution to my problems. And if you don't feel that you can solve it, then what is there going to be? You have to believe that you can do it. You and any problem, and even if you slow down a little bit, that's okay. It's okay, because what's going on in this world, the economy is not in a good space. But don't let that stop you. You may not be able to give what you normally want to, but as long as you're doing so consistently, just trying. But what I think stops people is listening to other people, looking at what other people, oh, look how good they're doing. Like they'll look at people who are millionaires and billionaires. You can't compare yourself to other people. We all are in different situations financially. As long as we do the best that we can and improve the quality of our life later on by the decisions that we make. And until you do the investing, until you do the work, it's going to stay the same. So, like you said, I think people are really afraid of losing, but if you don't take any risk, how can you know how successful that you can be in the future? There's risk involved in everything. So, take a risk on yourself.
Mhm. And with that, I agree with you. And but when it comes to what I talk about here, investing, I put in a lot of work to build a portfolio and have investments that limit my risk. My goal is to make my money make more money, to be on track to build wealth. Now, a few years back, yes, I had some failing investments and I've talked about them and I've made mistakes. And now I work on incorporating quality into my portfolio. Now, just because I feel that I've made good choices, I'm not saying that there could be a day when when I have another underperforming individual stock in my portfolio. I'm not saying that can never happen again, but I put in the work and I'm not fearful because of what I invest into. So don't be intimidated. Don't don't be held back. Ask questions. We take the time to we take the time to online shop. You were talking about planning a vacation. It takes time to plan a vacation, to choose a resort, to choose your cruise line, to pick out your excursions, and all those things take time. Put some time into doing research on your investment accounts, having an understanding, especially your employer plans. Those are, there's only a set, usually in my personal experience, you only have a set amount of target date funds and mutual funds and different things that you can choose from. But until you take the time, make a phone call, understand where in the site, in the app that you need to go to find out these things. Set a bar for yourself. Do some work. I know that planning the vacation, that's fun work, obviously. You know what the reward is there, but think about the reward of what I'm encouraging you to do. The reward of taking the time to understand your 401k means your money is going to grow faster. That means potentially a better retirement for yourself, especially if you're like me. I didn't graduate high school. Not high school. I didn't graduate college till I was nearly 30 years old. So I feel like I was always putting myself kind of at a nearly 10-year behind some of my counterparts that were able to progress further more quickly in their career, where I was getting started with my career once I held that degree and was able to attain a job that even required a college degree. So I say all that to say that we just need to keep on pushing forward. All of our circumstances are different. Don't put yourself up against anyone else. And what Marlene was saying about, you think someone is a millionaire, you think someone is doing well. Don't judge me by the car sitting in my driveway. Don't judge me by my house, because you that if that's how you judge me, you might think I have a whole lot less than what I actually have. You might not know I own another property over in the next town here and the next town there. You know what I'm saying? You can't see just by looking at me here. You don't know what my portfolios are. So just run your own race. So, keeping up with the Joneses. Any insights on that, Marlene? Like, we see certain things we can see. I have no idea what how much property you have, how long you've been working and contributing to your retirement accounts. Those are the things you can't see. How much consumer debt someone has. So,
Right. Oh no. Okay. It buffered a little
sorry.
bit. I think it's back. Oh no, now I can't hear you.
You can't hear me? No, I muted for a second because I
Is it
thought
me or can you hear me?
I can hear you. You can't hear me?
I can't hear you.
Oh no.
I don't know.
Um,
Maybe I'll go out and come back.
okay,
I'll go out and come back.
because I'm not muted. All right. Okay, so guys, Homebody Trish, Daryl, everyone, thank you for tuning in. Let me know if you have any questions. This is just kind of just regular, general motivational conversation today. Nothing too specific to, like I said, SpaceX IPO. That is not the kind of topic we're getting into today. But feel free to drop any questions or comments on what we've been chatting about. Hopefully, Marlene can get back connected with us. Hey, Marlene.
Hi, can you hear
Okay.
me?
Yeah, I hear you. Do you
Okay,
hear
good.
me? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So keeping up with the Joneses. Yeah, I'm never going to be jealous of those outward things, not knowing. And I mean, I would say nearly 100% of the time, I have no idea what's behind those superficial things that I see. And so I'm just focused on knowing what I'm trying to build for myself. And a lot of times when we see the detail, when we do accidentally find out the details, I often say, oh, okay, yeah, not that I was feeling jealous before, but I see that there's struggles when something financial comes up, or there's a mention of paying a car payment, and I'm thinking, wow, they've had that car a long, long time, and they're still not in the place that I expected. So has that ever happened with you?
Well, my thing has been recently. Oh no, I'm hearing feedback again.
I'm going to mute for a second.
What I've been doing recently is not looking at what people have materialistically. I've been looking at people's quality of life. that's something to try to emulate. Like seeing people that, okay, it's the middle of the day, and and they're sitting by the beach relaxing. How did they get to do that? Like things like that, and then trying to use that as inspiration and add that to my life. Okay, what could I do right now in order to make that feasible for me? So instead of looking at somebody, what they have going on financially, or what it appears to be, because sometimes it's really a mirage. It's not even that they have this wonderful life, is they're up in debt up to their ears, they're drowning actually, and you think that they're doing well. So I started to start looking inwardly at myself, and asking myself the questions: what do I want? What kind of life do I want to live? And what do I need to do right now in order to get to that? So, like I said, focusing on me and what can I do? What can I afford? How can I invest more? How can I, pad my accounts, things like that? And how are my other things on the outside doing that will help me to have multiple streams of income? I'm always seeking to try to have more and more streams of income, even if it's small. Even if you could have one thing that will be like, okay, this will cover my groceries every month from here on out. For me, that's something I'm going to get on that bandwagon because groceries are expensive, or to have gas in my car. I have accounts for every single thing. Some people think that that's overkill, but not for me. I have an account for every single expense.
There's nothing wrong with that. And I was doing certain things like that. And, from years ago, without the names that I know of that we're calling them now, the sinking funds and the budgeting and different things like that. And um, I was just doing it naturally because I saw that that was the way that I needed to fight through paying down my debt and being prepared when the taxes come up and those repairs come up. And I don't know how to time things perfectly, like when when you're going to need tires or when you're going to need additional maintenance on the car, but I just know that something is going to come up, so I just make sure to be prepared. And no, all of our numbers are different. Like I was watching Daryl earlier, and he still works. He's an adjunct professor, and he has rental properties and things like that. So he calls himself retired, but retired, you know, he made a change for himself, and maybe now he feels like he's more flexible. But there's different types of fire, anyways, barista fire, and different levels to it. But the thing is that he shared that he retired with 300K. And some people think you need millions, but the state that he lives in, the way that you choose to live, your expenses, if you have work to pay off your mortgage and make strides to decrease your expenses as extensively as possible, all those things can have you on track to have that retirement early. And depending on what your healthcare costs and those things could be potentially, or what benefits you have if you were in the military and things like that. But figure out all of the what your picture is in order to strive for when you can start to dial things back, because everyone's going to have a different number, a different need when it comes to striving for retirement or early retirement. Gerald saying he's the laziest retired person ever. I don't know about that. I think you're a hardworking retired, quote unquote, retired person. Um, and so what is Lucy? Lucy's dropping baseball? No, Lucy basketball. Knicks, Knicks, Knicks. um, so what else are we going to chat about today, Marlene? So you were talking, and you sent me some notes, and you were talking about the trajectory shift on taking things. I think you wanted to talk about, or wanted to touch on, taking things step by step. I know it takes a little time to build a habit. It doesn't happen overnight. but just staying consistent, setting small goals for yourself, maybe the first 3 months, 6 months, 9 months. Is there any financial goals that you've gone about in that way?
Yes. Recently, what I've been doing is trying to not incur unnecessary debt. So, um, what did I say in my notes? I would add that we deserve a different life, and it starts with believing that we deserve better and not settling or making excuses, but taking action. And taking action is what counts, not frustrated procrastination. And I think that that was the thing that I not unknowingly what I did is I had frustration procrastination, and you will be frustrated with the life that you have if you keep procrastinating from doing what you're supposed to do. So when I started to do all of the things that I needed to do, like really, like you said, researching and knowing about investing, realizing, okay, what is my credit score and what is my number that I need to hit in order to feel comfortable enough to retire, and etc. Do I have a nest egg for this or that? Just like you said, sinking funds and etc. Making sure that you're hitting your numbers, and we can't do that if we keep procrastinating and making excuses. Just like you said, you started with a little bit of money. You start with that little and then you increase it over time, because then you're going to learn more things. And for me, I'm a person, I get excited when I see my account start to grow. Then I'm like, oh, how can I push some more money into that? So the more that you get comfortable and know what your numbers are and what you want, you're not going to procrastinate like you used to.
Yes, analysis paralysis. That's something else I wanted to touch on. Is not overthinking things to death so that you wind up actually doing nothing and letting all these months pass like, oh, I'm going to get to it, I'm going to get to it. I don't know what to choose. I don't know what to do. Take a small amount and get started. It might not be the perfect choice. I'm not saying that you might not have to potentially make a change, but get started and take a day, take a few hours, even a lot of times. And don't feel like if you work during the days that you're limited and you can't get around to calling certain places. I know Fidelity, they're you can call them in the evenings after 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock. There's still going to be someone there available to talk to. So don't just keep on putting things off for months and months and months. This year it was a rough start to this year, as far as the stock market and the war and this the inflation and just everything that was going on. And so it's still here, or it's still up and down. But if you had something that needed to be adjusted and you did it in the late 2020, the late end of last year, beginning of this year, you really put yourself at a place where you were able to make that adjustment while things were coming down, and now things are coming back up. So you quickly could see improvement in your portfolio. And it's just uh I hate people talking about finances, and I don't understand. Just take it step by step. Figure out what your obstacle is, get an answer to that, work on that. Then just keep on digging deeper and deeper. And like I said, it doesn't have to be anything complicated. Sometimes people reach out to me and say, Lisa, I want to know how to buy the shares. And shares of what? Doesn't have to be, it doesn't have to be individual companies. It doesn't have to be the Apple and the Microsoft and trying to get some SpaceX. That's not going to be everyone's journey into investing. And most likely that's not going to be the route that you're able to do through your employer account, if you have that through your employer. but work within what is offered to you. Maximize it to the best of your ability is what I'm encouraging you to do. And don't sit around for month after month and you can make moves on other things like those superficial things. You need a car, you're traveling, you want concert tickets to see whomever, all those things. They don't let all those things get accomplished, and making a simple adjustment to where you're holding your emergency fund, what high yield savings account you're using, what's going on with what you're invested into through your employer plan. Those things might take less time than ordering those tickets and researching, looking at the stadium and deciding where you want to sit. So think about it like that, and what making those changes are going to do for you in the long run. Do you agree with what I'm saying, Marlene? Do you think that there's certain things that people are putting energy into, and there's other things that will be more beneficial in the long run that they're not willing to take less time to do?
Yes, I think I see it every single day that but it's really about priorities. Some people, their priorities are completely off track. They're not even they're not even on a track or a path towards success when it comes to their finances. And it's because some people just don't want to deal with it. They would rather just ignore it. And I did that for a time when I was young, because it was just about, I'm young and yay, let's have fun and party and do all of these things. And then you find out years later, man, if I had stayed on track, I would have been able to do so much more with my money. But it's not letting yourself, don't beat yourself up. Just say, this is what it is. Get on track, make your plans, get back focused, be about your business, and don't compare yourself with anybody else, because that comparison thing, you should only be in competition with your own self, because that's what counts. But d- don't focus on what was. For me, I stay in the present. I focus on what is feasible for me right now. What can I do? What can I afford? Can I do more? And like, be honest with yourself. Can I really do more, or am I just thinking I can do more? We each have to know our own situation.
Yes, yes. Thank you, Joe, for that super chat, and thank you for being a channel member. Hello to Sharia and everyone in the chat. Now, Daryl has shared a few comments here. He says he recommends FZROX to friends and family with small amounts of money. Start small and build the savings and investing muscle. Now, I've never invested into any of the zero funds at Fidelity. I've gone with FXAIX and FSPGX, which have low expense ratios, but not the actual, I call them the generics that have the actual 0% fees. Because I felt like they don't track exactly because they can't use the exact indice, and they pay out their dividend, I think, yearly as opposed to quarterly, or in a more regular basis than some of the other funds. But FXAIX has been my choice, and it has a 0.015 expense ratio, so super low. But yeah, if that's something that makes you fearful of, or turns you, is appealing to you, is a zero expense ratio fund, there are a few out there over at Fidelity. So it's a way to get started, and the performance is very similar to the funds that I mentioned. So you can't you're not going to go wrong with choosing them. Slightly higher performance, I think, with some others, though. But it's better to be on track to do something than nothing. And I love when people say to just invest or save $5, $10. Like if someone said, how much do I need to get started with investing? I want to say a low number. I don't know what your budget is. I don't know what your circumstances are. So I don't want to say anything more than like $25 or something like that. I'm still using Discover, which I think has been acquired by another bank. I can't remember the name of it now. But when with my savings account over there, I don't have any I didn't really have any minimums, or it did not require a direct deposit. So that was appealing to me at the time because I just wanted to get started with whatever small amount I wanted to, whatever my budget was. I wasn't going to have any limitations. And I've had the same experience at Fidelity, where there's no limitations on the accounts that I open. It doesn't have to start off with $2,500. When I set up my accounts, I fractional shares start at $1. And obviously, I want you to invest substantially more than $5 or $10. But if you need to just dip your toe in the water and get used to the process, you can invest that small of amount. You can save that small of an amount. I just want to see you stick with it for a significant amount of time. I invested $10 daily for over 3 years straight, not missing not one day. If I did miss a day because I was doing that investment, manually, I made up for it. I was able to look, review on holiday. I decided that I was going to invest for holidays. I made up my own, I would do, say if I knew the holiday was Friday, I would do $20 on Thursday to make sure I'm doing $50 weekly. So I say all that to say that don't feel limited. Don't feel like anything has to hold you back from being able to be on track. And even if it's just for the kids too, I love to talk about bringing the kids along on this journey. And so you spend more than $5 going to McDonald's, getting an ice cream, definitely putting money on their Roblox for games or whatever these kids play. You spend more money than that. So why not start to allocate that amount towards 529 plan, UTMA account, savings account, whatever it is that you're comfortable with. Okay, okay. I see a comment here. SPMO is on fire. Is on fire? I love my SPMO. I'm still didn't quite get to my 100 shares on it. Okay. It's looking good. It's been looking good. It's been looking good all year. Okay, let's see. Capital One bought Discover. Thank you. Yes, that's who it was. Uh, All right, let me take a quick station break. Thank you, Marlene, for taking the time to do this collab, for holding me accountable to keep up with doing this. It's been like 6 weeks since we got a little bit off track, but be on the lookout. Marlene's channel is in my description, so subscribe to her channel, check her out. Be on the lookout for me to go visit her over on her side, her to be back here with me for a Finance Friday or some type of wealth weekend live stream. And yeah, it was May 1st when I got us off track, but thank you, Marlene, for reaching back out and getting us back on track. Now, let's see. You both are fabulous. We're fabulous. Daryl told us so. Uh, I got Discover Capital One took over. I got approved for both credit cards. Okay, okay. Now, credit, that is one thing that Marlene and I do not really align on. I am a credit card person. I use my credit card for everything. I very rarely can pay like a five or a few dollars. I have not even $20 in my wallet, even less. So I use my credit card for everything. Credit, not debit. and then I just pay it. I'm trying to get the points, I'm trying to get the rewards. And one time I was live with Marlene and she said that if someone paid for dinner with their credit card, she would think that their finances were not in order. And I was like, I've used my credit card for everything. So do you run into any place where you go, Marlene, where they only take credit cards? Because I've run into that recently where they said no cash.
Yeah, most definitely have. I've had to pivot, and I think it's because I had older parents. My parents were baby boomers, and I don't know. I don't know. They were always like, "No, don't trust those cards." But I'm still working on it. But yes, I have run into a few places where they're like, "There's no cash here," and I'll be like, "Mm." So I've had to pivot and step outside of my comfort zone. Recently, I got my first credit card. I was still uncomfortable with it, but I'm getting into it. And I do see what you're talking about, Lisa, with the benefits and the bonus and the miles. I understand now. So I'm working. You're getting to me, Lisa. Oh no, you're muted.
Sorry. I figured that you might have been in that place where you're getting forced into using it because certain, like, even like you go to a festival or food trucks or even restaurants. I went to a restaurant and it had a sign right at the door, like it was no cash. And I was like, oh, okay. So yeah, I figured there might be places where you were pushed to come over to our side. But I know that it's not your thing. So, yes, guys. So, don't be intimidated. If you need help, find a mentor, ask questions, seek out help. Just don't drag your feet. Don't let opportunities be passing you by. I always say, like, don't be sitting on the sidelines. You need to get into the game. But, I can understand if you're a little fearful, find a way to get over it. Find a way to get the answers, to make sure that you have an understanding and that you're comfortable. And and when it comes to investing, I definitely encourage people to zoom out. Don't look at January to March of 2026 and let that impact the way that you're going to go about investing. That is one little 3-month snapshot that I just mentioned. We have to think about 30 years of investing and building potentially, So if you're invested into the right thing, I believe that the US economy is not going to fail us. AI, semiconductors, now NASA and SpaceX and who knows what's coming next for us. There are advancements coming. There are opportunities out there. You don't have to go to the most aggressive new thing. You can stick to the S&P 500. You can stick to a total US stock market, a more basic growth fund. SPMO, that's a momentum fund. It's something that I have definitely worked to incorporate into my portfolio, and it has not disappointed. But it didn't start off it didn't hit the ground running as far as when I added it into my portfolio, it shot right up. No, it didn't. It took a few months. It rebalances in September and March. And I think in my journey, I had just pretty much got started in late 2025 investing into it. I think I needed both of those rebalancings. I needed Micron to be taking off in order to start to push up my portfolio. But this is something I'm looking 10 years plus down the road on this investment. And it's an investment. It's an ETF that's been around. It just hit the 10-year mark while I've been investing into it. So it's something that we had. That gives me a bit of a track record to see what it's done over the last 10 years. Now, past performance is not tied to future performance, but I like to have that history to reflect back on. And it gives me more confidence on how the fund is managed, how they go about restructuring and making their choices, the criteria and those type of things. And so I'm looking 10 years down the road as well. Okay, okay. Guys, make sure to hit the like, subscribe to my channel, check out Marlene Motivates. As I said, her channel name is in the description of this live stream. And if you have any questions or comments, you can leave a comment after the live is over so that I can make sure to reply back to you. So, yes, when I collaborate with Marlene, I try not to make it like too tech, just mostly a conversation, just regular talk on what people may be struggling with, what we might have been having some success with when it comes to our portfolio, how we've gotten out of debt, how we've built our confidence in different areas. Have you seen a 3% fee on credit card usage? Not sure what you mean by that. Certain places, I'm pretty sure it's illegal for vendors that decide that they're going to accept credit cards to then try to pass on a fee to the consumer. But I have seen it done, if that's what you're referring to. Does SPMO and SCHD make sense in a brokerage? Now, I'm not sure how to pronounce your name. Kaylin Gardner. It depends. Every there's no one size fit all when it comes to setting up a brokerage, uh, to setting up an investment. I say that because um, right now, my focus is not SCHD, it's growth. You're giving me a dividend fund and a momentum fund. Right now, I'm more focused on the momentum fund. I'm not focused on building into SCHD. That's something more for when I want to tap into those dividends, when I want to rely on that steady income. So I don't know if you think about what I just said and then let me know, or think for yourself, is that the right mix? Do I want income or do I want growth right now? Can I shift to SCHD later on when I really want to use those dividends for income, or is SCHD the right fit for me now? That's kind of how I look at it. And, not knowing your age and things like that. So thank you, Key, for tuning in. Oh, you're starting from the beginning? Okay. Key's jumping back and catching us from the beginning of the show. I didn't see that in New York. I don't see that in New York. Okay. Doctor's office and Harley dealerships charge you a three. I could be wrong. Have you ever, do you know what I mean, Marlene, by some places try to charge you for using your credit card?
I know that's one of my reasons why I always have, like, especially if I know that I'm gonna go somewhere and I know the cost ahead of time, I try to have the cash. Like, oh, you didn't get me this time.
Like I said, I don't think that technically when you agree to be a vendor that takes credit cards, I don't think you're allowed to do that, but they do it. And there are certain like there's a place that I go for takeout sometime. I usually go and pick it up myself. I don't do the Uber Eats or delivery stuff. But yeah, they have a note right there that says if you don't spend, say, $10, they're going to charge you a little something extra if you use a card, which I'm usually paying above that amount, so it's not an issue, but I don't think technically they're supposed to do that. But yeah, doctor's office and stuff like that, yeah. Um, it's not state law, it's illegal. Yeah, I don't but no one's I the credit card companies are not going around the town and stopping them from doing it. So I have seen it happen. Um So yeah, when I bought my last car, which was a while ago, I I asked them how much they would be willing to let me put on my credit card towards my down payment with what amount would they allow me to, and I think they allowed me to do like maybe 10,000 or something. And so I did that, and then I paid my credit card right away. I gave them additional cash, however I did it, check or cash, in a different form other than the amount from the credit card. But I was like, yeah, this is going to be a substantial amount that I'm spending today. So I want to get as much points from using my credit card as possible. So I'm always out there trying to make sure that I'm maximizing my credit card points. Now, my credit card people like Key that's in the chat, I haven't gotten my Fidelity credit card yet. I don't know what I'm procrastinating, Marlene. I'm procrastinating on getting my Fidelity card. I admit it. My
Why?
takeouts.
Why though? Why are
I,
you
why am I procrastinating? I don't know. They sent me an offer. I have it right on my nightstand next to my bed. I don't even want to look at it there. I need to take care of that. I need to make a decision as to if I'm gonna get that card. So with that, I think your rewards will go right into your brokerage account. So that is a benefit. Not that I of course I transfer my money in myself, but to have some extra points that are going there directly is an extra added bonus that I have not incorporated into my plan. But yeah, so I think we had a great chat today. News, the stock market, it can be a roller coaster, but I don't want it to be intimidating. Take some time to focus on yourself, on your budget, on where those money leaks are. And don't tell me it can't be done if you haven't tried. And when I say try, every make a plan for yourself every week, every month. Make a set plan for yourself and stick to it. You habits don't form overnight. What type of things can we give them some homework on, Marlene, on evaluating what things can get improvement?
right? You like you said, you have to. I think we got feedback now. So we have to reevaluate, our situation. And, like you said, you got to look at your own self in the mirror, your own financial situation, and start where you are and gain the knowledge, read, follow up, ask questions, assert yourself, and get yourself a financial planner or a broker or somebody that's going to help you to get to the next step. But you got to know where you are and stop pulling and dragging your feet. Stop making the excuses and just do it. And start small, but stay consistent. That's what I would be my advice. Start small, but stay consistent.
Yes, I love it. I love it. It's not a joke investing or saving $5. I'm not saying it. It's not, when I say that, I mean it literally. I'm not joking. Investing for your kids a small amount. Now, start there. If that's what you need, to start there and know and see what you accomplish with that small amount, and then scale up. But don't sit there and be like, I can't, I need. No, you don't need more. Start today. And really, I don't want anyone to be fearful of investing. No, it's not perfect. No, yes, there is risk, but there are plenty of ways to mitigate the risk. There are plenty of investments out there that all you have to do is be patient, understand the process, and allow it to recover. And reach out, let's chat, ask me, drop me questions. I might be able to direct you to a video. I might be able to send some encouragement your way. I might send you the message of, yeah, that investment right there is not the best choice, and I don't think it's going to recover. Not that I'm giving financial advice, but I think that some people, I've had to tell them that, and I think they just needed to someone they already knew the answer in their heart and in the charts, but it was just a matter of wanting to share it with someone else, and it gave them that little bit of a insight, and just made them open their eyes and say, okay, yeah, I have to let this go. And that's the way it's going to be sometimes. Like I said, everything is not perfect. Now, I'm going to wrap up for today. We're coming up on an hour, but let me see if I can just share. Not, this is not, let me see. I'm going to share my screen just for 1 second. Let me see. I can't share screen. Share screen. The excitement today, SpaceX. Can I add it? Here it is. Okay. So I pulled it up on the Google chart. It seems like it started on here at 11:47 this morning, and it's showing $151, and it's already up nearly 30%, almost to $173. I did not invest into SpaceX. I do not plan on, I did not have an order in. A lot of people I saw that had orders placed only say they had an order for 7. They only got 1. So for now, for the next probably 6 months or so, I'll just be getting exposure through my ETFs, and that will be that. But be careful. Be careful. It's an IPO. They're changing the rules around this one. So basically, you're in and you're going to be locked in for a set amount of time, while those big whales that have been in it for years now are able to cut out and reap the rewards already. So you might get stuck. This is just a few hours in of what it's doing. Not even barely a few hours. Like I said, my chart is starting at nearly noon, and it's only going on 2 o'clock right now. But there are plenty of investments out there that give you a whole basket of stocks that you can rely on to be on track to build wealth for the long term. Okay, so thanks for watching. And like I said, be on the lookout for pop-up lives from myself along with Marlene. We don't dual stream, so when I'm on Marlene's channel, have your notifications on so that you can catch our collabs together in that way. Okay, so I see a couple of questions. If you can drop them in the chat after, I can give Michael, especially Michael, I can give you a more detailed answer. I don't know what you're asking about index funds. SoFi for the long term. SoFi is not an investment that I've incorporated, and I don't plan to. I kind of keep to more larger blue chip stocks as far as my individual stocks that I incorporate into my portfolio. I'm not saying anything, against it. It had huge swings. I mean, going from like $6 to $20, and it just wasn't, it didn't seem like an investment that was the right fit for my portfolio. But if you have a more specific question or something, feel free to drop it after the live and I'll try to get to it. Yes, like Daryl, I will rely on ETFs for now as far as getting into SpaceX. And even if I had an order, like I said, I know someone who had an order in for 7 and potentially got 1. Someone else had an order for 3, same thing, 1. So, you're not gonna get you're not gonna get you most likely, us regular retail investors, we're not going to be able to put in a substantial amount of money if someone's order for 7 shares couldn't get filled. So don't feel like I say that just to let you know that don't feel like you're missing out. Just strive to build wealth on with your own plan, not an aggressive plan. It's okay not to be super aggressive when it comes to building your portfolio. It might be a safer way of getting on track. Good show, Lisa and Marlene. Thank you. And we will see you again coming up soon, maybe again one more time in the month of June. But be on the lookout, have the notification bells on. All right, Marlene, give us a sign off for today.
Um, I just want to bring this to an end by saying, oh, I'm hearing feedback again, Lisa. Um, I want to bring this to a close by saying, what me and Lisa talked about is all very important and useful information. But if we just take in knowledge and that's it and we don't do anything about it, we stay where we are, and we want to surpass our wildest dreams. I want for every single person who is here or watching in the replay, I want you to have a fabulous life. I want you to be able to retire and to be relaxing because you made good decisions and you stayed consistent and you got outside of your comfort zone. So listen to Lisa and take the steps that you need to in order to have the life that you deserve to have.
All right. Thanks for watching. Okay, bye.
Stock it up, stock it up, stock it up, stock it up, stock it up.